Hi, I'm Jessica Harmon, and you're watching the Permanent Reign Press.
I am happy to be joined by Jessica Harmon. How's it going?
It is going. It is going. It's going. How is it going over there?
It's going good as best that can be. What have you and Lenny been up to these past 2.5 months?
Oh, that's a lot, surprisingly, and nothing. A lot and nothing simultaneously. At the beginning of this, I had just finished my work on the 100. We had just finished season 7 of the 100, our final season. I was kind of heading into like a couple months of taking a break anyways. Wasn't anticipating this style of a break, but we had kind of already planned for that, so we weren't as thrown in terms of our day-to-day life as I think a lot of people have who were, obviously still going to work and stuff. So I had finished literally just the day that everything shut down. And then the first few weeks I directed an episode of the 100 this season. So I was doing my edit remotely from my living room, which was moderately difficult, but kind of an exciting, interesting hurdle, I suppose, to cross. So my editor, who was in Los Angeles, and I, who were supposed to be together in Los Angeles, had to just work remotely and just sending countless hours of this small clip from here, no, to this one, and back and forth. And so I was lucky. I got to stay fairly occupied for the first couple weeks. So it kind of took me a minute when that ended to readjust and go, okay, now what? And then we moved houses in the middle of this because we had our place in Los Angeles and our place here. So we moved everything up. We were here, but we had it shipped. So we've, had that going on. And I'm writing a series with a friend of mine right now. So we've just kind of been trying to keep ourselves busy and creative. And then most recently, with the murder of George Floyd, Lenny and I have been doing a lot of online work to support the Black Lives Matter movement and what's going on in the United States right now. So we're busy with those things, but trying to just stay safe, stay inside. Definitely still feel the COVID concern in this household. So we're just trying to get through and stay safe until we can go back to work safely.
Yeah, that's really all you can do, as you mentioned, using your platform, using your voice to share what's important as well. I know both of you previously have been doing the fireside chats on Instagram Live.
Right. Yeah.
So it must also be nice to, reconnect with your friends and familiar faces.
Yeah, that should have been my first answer. That was something that kind of just happened. Lenny, one day, like the beginning of all of this, like, we should just go on your live and, talk to people. I was like, all right. So we did, and some, fellow cast members stuff jumped in, and it just turned into this like pseudo interview forum that we had, and we turned it into fireside chats, which was every day for the first couple of weeks, and then we kind of spaced it out, and now with what's going on, we're not doing it right now. But yeah, we had a friend of ours, Michael Pena, come on and talk about their experience together on Narcos, and Pena's experience on Ant-Man and stuff, and Fury Road. We had like a ton of the cast of the 100 and iZombie and a lot of different actors and musicians, which is just kind of nice to reconnect. I feel like that's if you can find an upside of the horror of what this has all been, I would say that it's been the time that some of us have had to reconnect with people and FaceTime or whatever that is. And for us, it turned into like a little weird fake television interview show in front of a fake fireplace with all of our friends. But yeah, it was nice. And we got a lot of interaction with fans and stuff to ask questions ahead of the season 7 premiere. So it was a nice thing. And we got a lot of support and a lot of fan love from it. So it was really nice. And we will go back to it, when
the time is time is right for you. So congratulations on your Leo Award nomination for your work in iZombie. Dale and Clive in the series finale, they welcomed their baby. You can see years later that they are now co-captains. Were you happy with her progression over your 4 seasons on the show?
I was, yeah. That was a very that was a really unexpected surprise, iZombie. So it was 100, but and they came within a month of one another. So I actually worked on both series simultaneously for 4 on iZombie and 5 years on the 100. So those two experiences were kind of melded in my mind, and very different characters, very different shows. But iZombie was a very special show because it just not only was the show itself I found hilarious and sweet and endearing and it was smart and funny, but the cast on that show and the crew and a lot of the filmmakers in Vancouver, we all know that working in Vancouver during the winter months can be a little grueling if you are outside. And we did a lot of iZombie inside in the studio. So just the environment alone was a lot more comfortable than some other sets can be. But that show, it started with, I was supposed to do 5 episodes and I ended up with 30 something by the end. I did almost like half, I did like half their show by the end of it, which was just, yeah, it was a really delightful surprise for not just my bank account, but I was really inspired by that character. And the relationship between Dale and Clive and just their ups and downs, I felt, even though it was in a zombie apocalyptic scenario, their relationship was really true to life in a lot of ways. And the difficulties that a couple, and I like, in my head, when Dale becomes a zombie, spoiler alert, and stuff like that, there was the issues regarding like pregnancy and everything that we kind of dealt with. And to me, there was kind of like a metaphor on biracial relationships as well, kind of mixed into there, and then them ending up together and happy. And yeah, the co-captains and seeing that they've kind of created this wonderful little family after all those years. It was great. I had an incredible experience on iZombie. I think anyone you would ask that did that show would probably have the exact same opinion too.
And at the end, there was a nice closure for all of the characters, not just Dale and Clive. The parallel between both of them, both her and your character on the 100 are, of course, their strength. They can be witty when they want to, all that stuff. So with the 100, it is also coming to a close, season 7. What are you taking away from the show? What has Nyla and this world of the 100 given you?
A new career. Which is a big one for me. To be honest, I feel like I've always kind of been down a road towards directing. My father being a director, I always wanted to land there, and I love acting. I've always loved doing that, and it's gotten me to here. But I think a lot of my focus was always, how can I get that to get me into this place? And the 100 did that for me. The 100 was supposed to be 1 episode, and it turned into, again, 30 something or 40 by the end of it, 5 seasons later, and a directing credit on their final season. I directed the 99th episode of the 100 episodes of the 100. And they gave me that opportunity. They, opened their doors to me when I had questions for executives and directors. They let me shadow a different director every season and go through the entire post season with our showrunner, Jason Rothenberg. They just were so supportive and helpful of anyone that wanted to take that next step. And there was several actors that did as well. And they were just so supportive and incredible. And the last season gave me that opportunity. So they've really given me a dream, multiple dreams, really. I don't think I'll ever have an experience like the 100 or be given the gift like I was by those people again. And my character, she's very much not me. I always say that and people go, what do you mean? I'm like, well, she really sees the best in people. I'm like, that doesn't bode well for who I am. But she does. She sees the best in people. She supports her friends, which I feel like we're connected in that arena. But she really wants the best for everyone and kind of believes in humanity and never really lets that go. Until season 7. And not to spoil it or anything. And it's not like there's a huge change, but I feel like by the end of the journey, you know, there's still that support for the people that she loves, but there's definitely, I mean, you can only take so much, right? And on the 100, you take a lot. So yeah, just in general, that experience, I mean, it was one of the highlights of my life and a highlight of my career, and they've given me the career that I've always dreamed of. So I'll never be able to thank those guys enough.
Did your dad give you any tips for directing?
It's funny, my dad, oh God, yeah. I mean, over the years, like an insane amount, I've definitely formulated my, kind of my method after him in a lot of ways. Like we kind of block the same way, and we have a lot of similar traits in that, because just by proxy, obviously, and then asking him and him helping over the years. But during this experience, he was actually shooting a film out in Langley at the same time with one of his stars was Rhiannon Fish, my brother Richard's girlfriend. So my brother and I were out. I was directing my brother out at our studio. My dad was directing Rhiannon, who was actually on 100 years ago, out there. And my dad and I were staying in the same hotel. So we would meet up for like father-daughter director dinners at night and stuff. And I would be like, oh my God, this is happening, or this person's doing this, or the whole fucking world's crumbling down around us. Little did we know. And yeah, he was just really able to kind of walk me through a lot of those things that he's obviously dealt with in the past, and my mom as well, when, you know, I'd be like, I don't know how to speak to this person, but I just want to scream or whatever it is. And she'd be like, no, you gotta be calm, you gotta be diplomatic. Like, you know, so they were both incredibly helpful, as you can imagine, for during that. Not Richard. Richard's useless.
Yeah, who cares about Richard? You're like, whatever.
No one gives a fuck about Richard.
It's nice to have that support system from both your parents, obviously been in the industry for so long as well. And let's talk about those lasting friendships that you made as being a part of the 100. Tell me about your relationship with the cast and where you're seeing it going from here.
Well, they're all awful, so nowhere. The cast of the 100, I mean, you know, I was so I was lucky that, you know, my brother was on that show, so he had kind of paved the way. Sorry, my dog's drinking water like right next to me. He had kind of paved the way in terms of a lot of the friendships with the cast. So when I came on, there was already this, oh, you're Jessica kind of mentality, which was really nice. So I kind of got brought into the family really quickly, which was great for me. And then, and yeah, I mean, over the years, we've had so many people come and go, and everyone was wonderful or strange in a wonderful way in their own right. And you do make friendships, you know, along the way at work, because you work very closely for 14, 18-hour days for months at a time or whatever it is. So in your career, you'll always get really close with people for a while, and then sometimes, and you'll be like, we're best friends now for life, and then you'll just never see that person again. And it happens a lot. But the cast of the 100 was all kind of different in that there was I don't know if it was because everyone was in a particular age range or what it was, but when we all met and came together, and the difficulty of also filming the majority of a series outside in the rain, you know, that'll tear you apart and bring you back together in a way that other things won't. But there's a closeness and a bond that's kind of feels like we've been through something that only each other can relate to. And, you know, then you add on top of that the countless fan conventions around the world that we've been, you know, had the pleasure and we were lucky enough to be given the opportunity to go and meet all of these people, and to meet them in Paris and London and Australia and New Zealand and like you name it, we've been there and together. So to have a lot of those shared experiences, there's kind of like an unbreakable bond there. So there's, you know, and it's not like every person's going to be best friends. It's obviously, you know, it's called the 100 for a reason. There's a lot of people on that show. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say everyone gets along great. They don't, or they haven't necessarily over the years. But for the most part, there, like I said, there's a bond there. We've been through it. There's like a family element of like, you can hate this person for 1 minute, but if anyone on the outside says something, you're like, what the fuck did you just say? Because like they're family. They're like a weird, it's like we're this weird little family. But then there's, you know, I feel like everyone definitely would agree that there are friendships that were forged there that are lifelong. Like the majority of the people I speak to on a daily basis are the cast of the 100, you know, like, or specific ones at least. But yeah, we're close in like a weird, almost obnoxious sort of way.
Yeah, and there's always going to be
the
that connection, right, that you mentioned. Now, you were talking about meeting fans. The fandom is so passionate. I think you've experienced both sides of that spectrum. What is your, you know, one-liner or two-liner message to those who have really stuck with the show since the beginning, followed Nyla and her journey? What do you have to say to them?
Thank you. Really, like it took. I can't say anything in 1 or 2 lines. That's why I need a writer from the 100, and then I'll only have 1 or 2 lines. But if you, I mean, for me at the beginning of all this, when I was first introduced, so to say, with the fandom, they did not like me. They saw promos for my character and just immediately went nuts. And because they just didn't know what the character was at that point. So it was like, oh, wow, these people suck. And this is going to be weird. And I was kind of delighted by that almost. Like I found it kind of entertaining. But then when it came out and people, you know, saw what the character was about and kind of calmed down and became quite wonderful. And then when you go and you meet these people around the world, I'm not gonna lie, at first, again, I was like, what is this? Like, who would want to do this? And who would want to pay to meet us? And why? Like, I just found it strange until like I did it. And then we'll now have to apologize for my initial reaction because it was such an extraordinary thing to see these people come together with a shared likeness and then form their own relationships and bonds through their mutual love of the show and of our characters and us as people. And like people have met and gotten married or together or have best friends or like whatever it is. That there's people that I've met at the beginning who were kind of quiet and a bit of a loner, and then, you know, you get to 3 and 4 years into this con life and you watch them evolve into these other human beings who are able to use their voice more and speak up and you know, have grown their group of friends and have really come into their own. It's been really amazing for all of us to watch that and know that that kind of happened because of the show. It's extraordinary. It really is. I'm really impressed by them, and I have a lot of respect for the fans of the 100. A lot. Some of them I don't have any, but most of them a lot.
The 90, maybe the 99%.
The 99% is great. Yeah, it's that very loud 1% that can leave.
So we have our final question for you. Calvin Klein is creating a new perfume, the Jessica. Describe your signature scent.
Musky. I don't know. I don't wear perfume. I've never been a perfume. Like when someone walks by with it, I'm like, oh my God, even if it's light, I just think I have a sensitive smell, sensitive nose. So my smell would be, hun, what do I smell like? Hot sauce. I smell like hot sauce. Kimchi. Kimchi and hot sauce. Similar. They're kind of, yeah. So I smell like kimchi. Which is probably true because I go through like a jar of it in a week. So yeah. Yeah, I smell like kimchi. Oh, here comes Ellen Harmon now. Come on by. I'm doing an interview for the Leos. You know my dad, right? Have you met my dad?
I think so. Maybe more in passing.
This is Chloe. You potentially met in passing. We're doing an interview for the Leo Awards. Would you like to say hi to the people watching for the Leo Awards?
Oh no.
Well, it's not live, but
no, I know.
Oh, good. Now the dog's
Edit
here. This is what happens
out.
when you do interviews at home. Come on in. What do you got?
Bacon.
Oh, great. You brought bacon over.
Breakfast food, brunch food.
Bacon. Yeah.
Perfect. The bacon's wrecked. Apologies.